Today in the news, a Texas salon owner traveled to Michigan to back defiant barbers, and Texas continues a swift reopening, including the return of sports and the City of Dallas Hospital Capacity Report. Today is May 21st, 2020, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Hello, I'm your host, Patrick Washington, and this is Dallas Weekly News. Texas salon owner Shelley Luther was sent to jail for reopening her business during the coronavirus outbreak, called Michigan's governor a tyrant on Monday as she stood next to a barber whose license was suspended for cutting hair. Luther traveled to Owosso, a small Michigan town, to express support for Carl Mankey, a 77-year-old barber who reopened his shop for more than a week before state regulators suspended his license. Luther, the owner of Salon a la Mode in Dallas, was sentenced to a week in jail for flouting public health orders intended to slow the spread of the coronavirus. She was released less than 48 hours later when Governor Greg Abbott dropped jail as a possible punishment for violations. One of her first customers after jail was U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas. Luther told the crowd that she reopened to pay bills, support her employees, and offer much-needed services in a clean salon. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has defended the business restrictions as an important way to stop the virus. She relented a bit Monday by announcing plans to reopen bars and restaurants Friday in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and the northern Lower Peninsula of Michigan, which haven't been hit as hard as the rest of the state. Protesters, some bearing guns, have repeatedly traveled to the Capitol to demand the governor loosen a one-size-fits-all strategy. Some African-American elected officials have even been escorted under armed protection from other citizens. Republican lawmakers are suing Whitmer over her emergency declarations. Since March, Michigan has confirmed nearly 52,000 virus cases, although more than 28,000 people have recovered. There have been at least 4,900 deaths from the COVID-19 virus, the fourth highest total in the nation, including 20 in the Shiawassee County where Mankey cuts hair. Michigan is among many states that have enacted stay-at-home orders and imposed an array of restrictions on salons, bars, and restaurants. Governor Greg Abbott on Monday lifted most restrictions in Texas as the state continues one of the nation's fastest reboots. Republican Governor Greg Abbott gave permission Monday to reopen practically every facet of daily life in Texas, including bars and child daycare centers, lifting most full lockdown orders as the state continues one of the nation's swiftest reboots from the coronavirus restrictions. Governor Abbott's sweeping new orders, which he described as a second phase in Texas's reopening, allows zoos and bowling alleys to resume business and lets restaurants and retailers expand the number of customers by the end of the week. They also set up the return of some professional sports, some summer camps, and summer school by June. Governor Abbott said social distancing measures must still be in place, such as limits on customers and no fans at sporting events. Theme parks, however, will remain closed. The move pushes one of the world's largest economies towards getting back to business as usual, even while the state has seen record numbers of daily new coronavirus cases and deaths. But Governor Abbott has emphasized hospitalization rates that remain flat and infection rates that have dropped, even after Texas began lifting stay-at-home orders on May 1st. Governor Abbott did keep broad restrictions in two parts of Texas that are struggling with a surge of new cases, El Paso and Amarillo, for an additional week. He said the delay would give surge teams more time to get the flare-ups of new cases under control. Governor Abbott said he can further push Texas open because the state has boosted daily testing and has seen a drop in percentage of new cases. The infection rate was as high as 13% in mid-April and has dropped under 5% in recent days, according to state health officials. Governor Abbott also said the state had good hospital capacity and personal protective equipment to handle any drastic increases in cases. Under Abbott's order, child care facilities can reopen immediately. Restaurants will be able to open at 50% capacity on Friday, an increase from the current 25%, and bars which had remained closed to open at 25%. Bowling alleys will be allowed to open at 25% as well. By June, youth sports and other camps will be allowed to open, and professional sports, including auto racing, golf, softball, and tennis leagues, can apply with the state to host events without spectators. Abbott said theme parks are still being evaluated. Schools, which had been closed for the rest of the spring semester, can make plans to reopen for summer school with social distancing guidelines for in-person instruction. Universities can also reopen campuses for summer with similar guidelines. The order did not mention planning for collegiate sports. Democrats, including the mayors of several of the state's largest cities, have criticized the plan as moving too fast too soon. Few states have moved faster to reopen than Texas, where Governor Abbott has warned that the number of new cases would rise as the state reopened, and that has borne out. A 9-day streak of at least 1,000 new daily cases that ended Sunday saw the one-day infection rate hit a record high of 1,801 on Saturday. The 110 deaths over last Thursday and Friday was easily the highest 2-day fatality rate since the virus was first detected in the state. The state reported 909 new cases Monday, about 30,000 new tests. 11 new deaths were the lowest in a single day since March 31st, when there were 4. Mondays have been typically the fewest cases of infections. State officials said surges in new infections came. Over 700 cases were reported in Amarillo, where Texas has sent a response team to try to contain a growing spread at a meatpacking plant. And now the City of Dallas's hospital capacity report as of May 19th. This has been Dallas Weekly News. I'm your host, Patrick Washington. You can find these and more stories at dallasweekly.com, and you can follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Again, you can stay home, stay safe, and we will see you again tomorrow.